How about now? Any sound now? I heard my switch click. I think when I got up I screwed it up. And now I gotta wait 20 seconds to see if it comes back. There I am. You know what? That is getting more and more annoying. I see a new headset in my future. I did play around with another option, shoot it down my shirt, wear a longer extension, but then you get that weird itchy feeling. If you've ever been in a broadcast studio, real common trick to shoot it down the back, right? Especially if you got the earpiece. But yeah, I guess when I got up to get my little helper plate, I love this one. This one's nice because it's got that grilled texture, a little lighter, a little easier on the hands too, and perfect for squeegeeing out most of the air. It's funny, you still capture some, but it's like, the tiles are never perfectly flat. I was saying this the other night. Easier with the smaller ones, the imperfections on the surface aren't so bad, but look at that. Well, that won't come out pretty good. Nothing too offensive there. Could even whip out the hairdryer and fix some of those up. As long as I do it quick and don't apply too much heat. So did you win any money with the online poker, or come even? Am I doing something twice here? Probably. Oh, you're a little bit unlucky lately, huh? I was freaking out for a few minutes when I put the feet on, because it was like, ooh, I couldn't figure out how to make the legs work. It's like, that seems odd. Ooh, come on, there we go. And I tweaked my cameras a little bit more. I'm still having some problems with lights. I was shopping online. This is still dead. This one I've dumbed down a little so it doesn't blink. And that bar is more yellow than it is bright white, which means I'm using software to fix some of my problems. Still. Not ideal. Boy, at least I can fix that easy enough. Just flip that over. Actually, it was right because... Right. Duh. Alright. This guy's got the center... yeah, that's right. Really nice mobility. Any chance I get to build a mech, it's a good time. Clickety click. Yeah, I still wanted um, my big screen right now. I still want it more white to match what this is really like. But as long as I'm using the double bar, that's a warm white, I can't do it. I can't adjust it enough without screwing with the contrast too much, or worse, using the brightness, and that just washes it out. See, the top down is closer to the actual white of the desk, but I still got shadow issue here. Well, not shadow, but just not as bright as I want from there. Here's okay, here's okay, here's okay, but oh, thank you. I appreciate that, especially coming from you and your videos. I appreciate that. It's just something that I like, and it's like what I want to achieve. Especially with my older software setup, where man, I used to like blow it out, but I enjoyed blowing it out. Like I really like that bright angelic white, almost like looking back at the pearly gates. You can't look straight at it. Kind of became a trademark for a while. Definitely not something everyone likes to look at, but something I liked, and I kind of do it for me, right? Okay, so there's an Overwatch print here. Yeah, cool. Glad that's not a sticker. And I got another one. Okay, I'll make sure not to lose that. It's too bad that turns in place. None of the cameras are gonna. I'm not firing up the phone for this one, but there we go. Little print. Yeah, well, that's kind of my older setup was great for everything except for, of course, for the white bricks. The white bricks would completely disappear. They were almost invisible. And of course, I was also screwing with the contrast to remove shadows, because I used to be really annoyed, less so now. My arms and hands would create a lot of shadows. And I'm using the software to get rid of some of that. But the higher you tweak it, yeah, you can make the shadows go away, but then you also make white elements go away, and then shiny elements go away, and then trans clear elements, they eventually disappear. Not ideal. I was looking at some more 6500 bulbs over the LED panels, but large ones. And oh man, what was the measurement on them? 6500s, but they were like 8,000 lumens or something. I think they were designed for garages. And I was trying to wrap my head around, like, no, how would I incorporate them? And then what would I have to do? Because I'd probably have to dumb them down. But I'm sure it would give me all the light I'd want. Yeah, I definitely have some shadows, but like you said, it's, they don't look wrong or out of place. But right now, the rest of the place is completely blacked out. I go 10 feet in any direction and it's really dark, so I've got a lot of great focus light in this one spot. Where did the sticker go? There we go. And I do have my colors. I set it to pop slightly. I went from the default 50% to about 53. So the orange, in this case, pops pretty good. Okay, I don't know why I'm holding this piece. That's dangerous. This is what I want a sticker. it's perfect. Really pleased with how centered that came out. Tell you though, I can feel my heart. Next time I should set the heart meter on here and put a camera on it. Cause your heart, I can feel my heart rate go up. Like I want it, because I'm gonna be looking at this, and when it's messed up, I'll know it. This should be on its side. Unfortunately, Friday is my day off, but it's also still a work day for my wife. She hasn't booked it off. Which means, I mean, I could use the space. It's just, she's loud. I got no way of dealing with that unless I accidentally turn off my mic. Looks good for your skin tone. Looks good. Thanks, I appreciate that. Okay, so here's a mistake I was making earlier. When I was screwing with my lights and tweaking my settings, I didn't have my cap on. Now I got very, very short hair. I keep it cropped short. So my head's a lot shinier. Well, when I put the cap on, the my headshot that I'm using for my headshot right now, because I keep playing with that. Yeah, it was blown out completely. Lesson learned: if you're going to tweak settings, you gotta accurately represent the environment. I can't tweak settings, say with the box on the desk, and then take the box off and expect those colors to still work. Ooh, hey. Welcome to the stream, Stud City. I'm just catching up on some of my incomplete projects. And no one mentioned my nice little overlay right here. Taking full advantage, learning what StreamYards can and can't do. I tell you, Open, we're going to spend more time talking about cameras as soon as I loosen that budget a little. But it looks like the PC build will come before the new camera. Since I got, 80% of that build now. I gotta get a power supply. I don't know if I'm going to buy a video card or pull one of the two that my daughter's using, because frankly she barely uses them. She's got two line, nothing uses the SLI function much. She's not getting any benefit from it, that's for sure. So yeah, I've got to figure out how I'm moving forward with that. I was just going to say something. What were you going to say, Stud? Oh, the overlay. Yeah. Well, it's like, see, with I'll show you. So, as you can see, and I don't use my logo is up there, but not using the branding. That's part of my overlay. I don't like what the software by default does with your logo. I find it's too big. And even when I used one that was smaller, it would enlarge it to fit what it wanted to do. So I said, okay, screw that. I wanted my brand to be a certain size, so I worked with the overlay. And then I figured, well, I can put whatever message or thing, like when I did the Yoda build, I put Yoda up where I got Bastion right now, and then I figured, I'm going to put a little picture of Bastion. I stuck that down there and I debated on and off for an hour. I literally spent an hour putting him on, taking him off, putting him on, taking him off, and I decided something else. And I did it with the Yoda. Is whatever build I'm doing, I'm going to Gaussian blur a wallpaper. You know, I'm lifting someone's pictures, artwork, or whatever, but I figure I'll blur it out, and this way I still get some imagery, something a little interesting, but I like it. My own little way of doing things. Oh, you're heading home to where all the Lego is. So I'm assuming we're going to see some updates on your city then. Are you in reading week for school, or? Because I know you're a lot younger than me. My school days are long over, not going back. Kind of made that decision in '97. Not going back. Just for the weekend. That's cool. Be safe. I love these pieces. Doesn't matter what color. But in tan, you know what they would remind me of? Honeycomb cereal. Honeycomb. Honeycomb? I'm probably showing my age. I mean, they still make it, right? That's it. We're going to put a level on this desk this weekend. See how bad my level is here. I'm always so worried about stuff rolling. Let's see. Where did they want me to put it? I can see the blue there. Okay, so that's what they wanted. Oh, the bear from Honeycomb. Or was the bear? Wait. Or am I thinking? Well, Sugar Crisp had the bear, right? Now I'm feeling really old. Oh, that's kind of cool looking. Like a Gatling gun. Blue pin with axle. Actually, I just turned 48. But yeah, it's been a rough 48. Ooh, cool. All holes filled. Could be the name of a sex tape. That's bad. And I'll probably shave this off and then I'll look 10 years younger tomorrow. Probably should have shaved it off a week ago, but wear a mask 10 hours a day at work. No one even, they only see the little scruff that comes out from under it. Oh wow, go figure. The only extra from this bag is a printed logo. Pretty cool. Oh, I like that. That's an intense looking gun. And half of it looked like a cigarette lighter for a car. Oh my god, that's coming out of the front? So I don't know what's the front or back. But from this side, I guess it's the back. From here, This is upside down, kind of, sort of. Okay. That's where they showed in the book. There we go. Asian skin minus 10 years. I'm going to leave that there for now. I can't reach my spares. All right. Bag 4. It's funny though, with me putting the Bastion there, I haven't seen anyone really play with overlays with StreamYards. Like, nobody. And I don't understand why, because it really adds a lot of possible functionality. I mean, people like to do the wallpaper background, especially if they're only going to have one guess, and then they'll do the 2-shot. This is the 3-shot, but they'll do the 2-shot and leave it there. So you see the wallpaper, and that's okay. But it gives them no flexibility, because as soon as they do anything, their stuff gets covered over. And it's like, you know, I wanted certain details to always be up. You have a good night, Stud City. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, I gotta get you on. Get you on screen, man. That young face of yours gotta help me out. I can get the rub, so to speak. Hey, you know, some people make a whole thing out of just jumping around on everyone else's. Look at BFAB forever. It's only in the last 2 weeks where he's been consistently doing some of his own content. Otherwise, he's been the perpetual guest, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But you become a celebrity guest at some point. Whoops. Cool to do your own thing. Hopefully I didn't drop a piece. And you definitely have no shortage of interesting things to say, so you're definitely welcome everywhere that I've seen you go. Where's the bushings? It's funny. I don't know if it's me going cross-eyed, but when I look at a Lego bushing, when I look at the cross, it doesn't look perpendicular. They just don't. And if you don't believe me, pull one out of your spares and take a look. When I look at it, they don't look like a proper cross with 90-degree angles. It looks like it's something else. And when I look at an axle, I don't think that. I've never thought that before. See, I'll look at the light. You know, that'll burn into my skull. But when I look at this, I swear they don't look like they're perpendicular. Okay, we've got this. Must be a ball joint here somewhere. There we go. All the way through. Yeah. And another bushing. But there we go. Always makes it nice and clean, pushed all the way through. Use the edge of the desk. But yeah, those bushings just don't look And I wonder if that's intentional, like the way it grips the axle for tension. I'm gonna zoom on in on that with some photography, like with the camera. And I want that blown up. I can't be the first guy to think they're not perpendicular. I'm not missing something that says do this 2x, right? Nope. Ba, 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 ba. Orange. Not my favorite color. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now we got some trouble. What are you still doing up, young man? Try to see how fast can I do this. Actually, it's not as late for you as it is for me, right? Wow. Come on. Slow. Oh, 1040 is not so bad. Oh, the stuff, the decisions I'd make different if I was 18 again. Or 18 today. I tell you, 18 today, though, to me sucks compared to 18. Oh, way back. I mean, I don't even want to pretend to do the math. I would have been 18 when? 95? I wasn't 18 in 97. I was older than that. Brain hurts thinking about it. Did I just do that? I did. So I'm at this step here. Whoop.
Hello there.
Hey, Shazam.
Thought you were gonna wait until Ryan was ready to continue building this again.
Well, I was, but he had a little snafu when his kid grabbed his set and apparently finished it.
Oh,
Yeah, I wasn't, admittedly, I wasn't too thrilled because I held off building the set to a time
true.
when we could both build it, and it's like, but I can't be upset. I love his kid, so it's
Yeah,
all
true.
good.
I think I'm having a bad hair day.
Yeah, it was when I saw when you were in the green room there. It's like I saw you fixing your cowlick or whatever. It's like maybe I'll wait a little bit longer. Oh no, hey.
I tried fixing it up as best as I felt.
When I was in grade 4, uh, I had the worst cowlick. It's in my school photos, and it's like literally it's the definition of a cowlick, like big, Little Rascals. If you know who the Little Rascals were on TV.
Oh, I remember vaguely watching that movie when I was younger.
Okay, there's a movie too. Yeah, it was based on an old black and white TV show. And
Oh, really?
oh yeah. The movie's garbage. It's the original black and white 1940s TV show. You gotta get your hands on it. Gotta be on YouTube somewhere. Classic stuff. In fact, some of it might even be hard to get because it's probably considered racist. There's definitely scenes with I guess it's Buckwheat, the black child in that show that by today's standards you would probably consider racist or at least stereotypical. But classic stuff. I mean, I don't believe in. We talked about this before about
Yeah,
making
yeah.
making the history go away because it's. I think you do more harm than good.
Oh
And
yeah.
there's also no denying the role that that young black actor. Oh, I came up with a word. Look at that, black actor had in cinema. I mean, it's historic.
Hmm.
Um, there's probably definitely some racial overtones to his work, and making fun of minorities and such. But if you look at what he did and the role he played in the show and stuff, I mean, yeah, I mean, to make that go away, that's a crime.
Yeah, I think I was reading the title of an article that just pops up on Facebook. How apparently some sort of dub for the new movie Soul. They wanted that changed because white actors are playing as black characters, and I'm like, really?
I had heard that, and I watched it, and I got to admit, I wasn't as focused on it. My wife and daughter were far more into that movie than I was. It
It
didn't
was
suck.
okay.
It didn't suck me in. It didn't hook me like some cartoon movies would. And I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of animated movies, both
Mhm.
because I used to love to draw. Artists. I've done some basic animation. I love all aspects of the movie making scene, and
Right.
cartoons are amazing. Today's cartoons just blow me away. The 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 thought, the effort, whether they're CG'd or they're hand animated cell by cell, which is almost never done anymore,
Hmm.
or if it's even the plasticine, molded, stop motion stuff. I mean, I appreciate everyone's work in cinematics and stuff, but you know, when they start ripping apart a movie, like, oh, they shouldn't do this, or this is all based on taking shots at a certain culture. It's like, oh man, why you gotta think that way about everything?
Isn't
You
that what
can't.
they're doing though necessarily nowadays? Is taking shots at a particular culture? I don't know.
You know what? You could look at everything that way.
Hmm.
There, I can probably take any movie and go, oh my god, I can't believe they did this or they did that. And if that's the critical eye someone wants to look at everything with, I feel sorry for them. They can't appreciate anything, and they all want to rewrite history. And it's like,
Hmm.
people, not cool, not cool.
True.
Yeah, little rascals. Oh, hey, mama could tell us. Um, Mama, what do you think about the Little Rascals and Buckwheat? Do you feel that the the characterizations of Buckwheat was overly racist, or do you just feel it was a product of the time? And that's the other thing. You got to judge things on the time.
Yeah.
Judging something from the 1940s and trying to judge it now in the 2020s, like, are you kidding? That isn't fair.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm proud of how far everything has come, for
Oh yeah,
sure.
for sure.
But to damn that old stuff, I don't know. Or to continuously make an issue of it.
Yeah.
And I guess I've got the the sweet position of I'm not of the group or culture that was being made fun of or belittled or
Hmm.
whatever. So, yeah, it's a privileged spot, I guess. I get it. I don't deny it. I just don't think we got to tear everything apart.
Hmm. So one thing I like to do is I like to put my boxes inside of boxes, but I don't like to flatten said boxes.
Oh, so you try and get like three boxes in one, and you're going smallest to biggest. You're doing the Russian dolls, is what you're doing.
More or less, yeah.
Yep.
And for this Ninjago City Gardens, I'm hoping I can fit maybe two set boxes inside it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be the case with what I have right now. I might mean like when I get the tournament developments, maybe it'll fit in this box because it's the same size as the Boulder Blaster box, but I don't think this one's going to fit.
You're every collector or every builder who's, oh, I love the boxes, I love the art, whatever, blah blah blah. So I'm going to put them Russian doll style one side of another, which is great until you run out of room, and then your next step
Oh yeah,
is which ones do I knock flat? So then you start. You'll probably draw the line the biggest ones plus the UCS plus whatever, since they're big and usually have the nicest box art anyway. Those will leave intact and they'll hold all the flattened ones, and that works for a while until you even run out of room. Then it's they're growing pains each step.
for sure.
Oh, Mama Archie Bunker. People don't know well, so they brought back
Oh, I remember watching that. I do.
the
Get
original
it
Archie.
there.
The original Archie Bunker was amazing, but it's very hard to do in this day and age unless you
Oh
put
yeah.
a special rating on it with special warnings and this and that. At the time it aired, oh, it was rough. I mean, every other word out of his mouth would get you taken off the air if you aired it at 6 o'clock at night on national TV, not on cable. If you aired that on national TV now, you'd be in trouble.
Get
Um,
demonetized.
yeah, or the equivalent of being demonetized. But Archie Bunker at the time was great because it it opened a lot of discussions up. I don't know how many times I talked to my mom or dad
Right?
about why is he saying such and such. Why is he calling the Polish son-in-law what he called him? Other than meathead, he says some other words, and it's like, and they'd explain it to me, and it's like, trust me, I learned a lot from that show, and
Oh
not just
yeah.
how to say a naughty word. Um, I learned how Edith on that show, how she was portrayed as that stereotypical housewife, but she stood up to Archie more than once, and it's like
Hmm.
the show was brilliant. Um, but to be brilliant, it went down some dark roads sometimes.
Yeah.
And the spin-offs from it were great too. I mean, there was so much good content from that era of TV, but all of it would be considered pretty nasty and untouchable these days, unless you put a rating on it and a time slot on it that would be appropriate.
Right. Hope I'm not making too much noise.
No, no, that's cool.
Well, that's a big brain move on my end. So, like, when you open up the gardens, they have half the bags on the top of the box, and they include a white box, like, UCS style. So I just thought, what if this box could fit in the white box? Fit
Yeah,
in the boxes.
Mama, I scratch my head all the time when I see what they're
Oh yeah.
doing to shows and which can and can't say. Ah, crazy. I worry for the children
Oh yeah.
who are, I mean, and just look, I mean, now we got COVID and stuff, and now they're afraid to even play with other kids and talk to other kids. And it's like, I can't imagine what dating is going to be like for them in 5 years or 10 years. I mean, oh man. I mean, yeah, we get past COVID, but it's like we still got to survive. And like the dating apps, they must be destroyed right now because you're not supposed to go out dating.
Long distance relationships are probably working out really good now.
Oh, yeah. Yep, for sure. That's why I'm enjoying WandaVision with its references. Okay, so I've now watched the 2 episodes,
Yeah.
and I'm
Quick, anybody
hoping.
here who has not seen the show, leave.
Well, yeah, all one of us. I'm still, of course, I'm paid for Disney still, so it's like I'm willing to ride it out a little longer before I judge it too harshly.
Oh
They
yeah.
ha- they haven't hooked me yet. I love what I'm seeing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I
Same
I love
here.
the style and the cinematics and the storytelling and the little Easter eggs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's like I'm ready. I'm ready for that gotcha moment where
Yeah.
they hook me in, but they haven't done it yet. And I don't know if it's because I'm already paying for Disney, or if I'm a old school Marvel fan where they could almost do no wrong as long as they give me something, just like Star Wars. Just keep feeding me, give me something, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I accepted the BS story of Ant-Man in the movies because it's not right to the origins of Ant-Man or Hank and Henry Pym and all this. Like, the free license they have to twist stories to
Oh
make it
yeah.
fit in 2 hours as opposed to 40 years of history that I know as a kid. I mean, I get it and I accept that, but it's like, oh, sometimes there's rose-colored glasses you're looking through when you're looking at stuff like, oh, everything is great. Well, not everything was great from the last 10 years of Marvel movies. A lot of it was good, but and thank God for guys like Robert Downey Jr., who took on the Iron Man role, who really needed it for his career. But I tell you, had it not been him and had it been someone else, I don't know if the MCU would have taken off. I don't know
Oh
if
yeah.
the Iron Man movie would have been as good. I definitely lay a lot of the success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe at his feet because he was the right big name to run with that project. And of course, it did astounding. They never thought it would do that good because there was no history of Marvel doing that good. Not
Hmm.
once. It never happened. Not in the movies. Between the direct to videotape movies and the ones that went to the theater, but just barely. I mean, everything before that, like Fantastic Four, was trash. Captain America, trash. Punishers weren't bad. I liked both of them, eh, but they were panned universally. Um,
Ghost Rider. I think a lot of people trash that.
yeah, Nicolas Cage, that first Ghost Rider. Actually, he did two, didn't he? Wasn't
I
there a
think.
second one?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
Okay,
lot of
so
stuff.
the I Love Lucy reference and in one, yes, yeah, I did. Um, and I tell you, it was beautiful watching even the outdoor scenes. I'm not sure how much in WandaVision was done in CG'd blue screen backgrounds or how
Yeah.
much was done on live sets built. Um, I got a feeling that whole living room is just classic TV show living room stuff because it definitely had that weird, elongated, wide feel. I mean, which would make every house be crazy long if you ever made all your houses like they do in the TV shows where your entrance is here, you're going all the way across, kitchen, the bedrooms you never see how they get into, and then there's a bedroom at some point. It's like, I mean, sitcoms kind of brought it a lot closer and a more rounded feel, but the old style TV shows were always long like that. Even the Brady Bunch TV show, between the house that was used for exterior shots, and of course we're talking the 60s as opposed to something earlier, um, and what was done for the living room and the kitchen and the foyer set, and actually where Mr. Brady's office was, like the house structurally doesn't make sense when you look at the exterior and the way it was laid out. But no one cared because it was a great looking house of an
Mhm.
architect. So of course it must somehow work. The first one was Dick Van Dyke, and the second one Bewitched, I think. Brady Bunch next week. I tell you, wouldn't it be something to give us a good Brady Bunch homage in that
Yeah.
show?
I was wondering, like, for the second episode, the intro for that, I was like, oh, what? I
Yep.
remember watching the show. What was the name of the show? And Mama Lego just filled in that gap for me.
See, the Dick Van Dyke thing, I didn't clue in too much to. I was never a big fan. I mean, the guy was great, don't get me wrong. Dick Van Dyke, but I didn't catch that so much. But I tell you, the Bewitched, oh, that was just something else. It's just something. And of course, it works too because it's the Scarlet Witch, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Bewitched.
yeah.
It's like, I mean, I didn't even look any further than that. To me, that was that was the whole lift for this whole black and white, whatever it's going to be, dream sequence, a secondary universe thing. I don't know, but yeah, there's definitely some shenanigans going on in WandaVision world.
Hmm.
So while I think a lot of it's brilliant, they haven't hooked me yet. I'm appreciating it on the technical levels right now, not on the story level. I'm hoping
Yeah.
they get me.
Yeah, for me, I've like watched all the stuff that appeals to me, and normally for me, I like to watch it once and then wait a few years when I've mostly forgotten most of it, and then rewatch it. That's how I like to watch shows and
Sure.
movies. And so I'm being told that there's all these little Easter eggs, and I'm like, I haven't noticed that, and so I don't know if I want to go back and watch that because that kind of breaks my moral compass, I guess, of how I do things.
Well, I'll tell
Just,
you, even if you go outside of, like Disney movies, Star Wars movies, Marvel
mhm.
Universe movies, you start looking at just other movies. Take a
Oh yeah.
direct, take any one director who's made more than one movie, and then you start looking at their movies with that fine tooth comb, where you're watching two or three times, watch it in a row, like same day. The first time you watch it, you get the story. Second time, you get some of the background stuff. Third time, you catch the little Easter eggs they've put in there, maybe influences on them, maybe links to their past projects, um, and you, or stuff that influenced them. You'll see it, and people will squeeze stuff in there that you just, oh, that can't be an accident. They put that in there for a reason. George Lucas putting THX in all his stuff. THX was a 1138 or whatever that horrible sci-fi movie was he made,
Hmm.
uh, before Star Wars, way back, and before American Graffiti too. Um, you start seeing where these guys just take liberties, and I'm going to put this in here, I'm going to put this in here. And the best ones are the ones where the people shooting the movies, the directors, the cameramen, they don't even know it's being snuck in there because maybe it's props people or effects people slipping something they want into a movie. I don't like ripping apart a movie where people go and they go, "Oh, I can see a watch in an old western." They see a Timex or something. It's like that's not the way I like to watch movies. I don't want to ever rip apart a movie, but
Yeah, the mistakes.
yeah, the mistakes. But I love catching the Easter eggs, the stuff that is there for the keen watcher or the one who's just got way too much time on their hands. Because when you start looking at Easter eggs, you look them up on YouTube,
Oh
and
yeah.
you see what people see or what they think they see, and you realize they are spending a lot of time combing through, sometimes frame by frame, to see stuff we can't see.
I feel like that's the same case for people who comb through the designer videos for a set that hasn't released yet. Like I've seen articles of people who are like, "Oh yeah, for the blacksmith shop, there might be a possible gift with purchase tease that you might just barely see in the corner here." Like I'm just like, okay, how many times have you attempted this, and how many times have it been correct?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I think you need to be in the era to notice the eggs. Oh, for sure, or at least be someone who appreciates the uh, the era depicted. Right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the black and white era was not my era, but in the late '70s, I saw Star Wars for the first time drive-in theater. To me, that's the way it was meant to be seen, because a lot of people my age, that's the way we saw Star Wars. We saw it in the drive-in theater, out in farm fields, and we put a radio the size of my Gatorade bottle hanging in the car. Some of them also had it so you could tune into a certain AM station in the car, but my experience was the radio that you would park beside it and you draw it and you'd bring it in, hang it on your door, and you'd also have room for that movie theater dinner tray, because they would come out take your order, and you put that tray hanging on your open window, and it never sat right. By the way, it was never level. It was good enough to get the food to your car, but I mean, to me, that was the experience of Star Wars in 19 whatever 78 or whatever it was, and I was a kid. But yeah, I don't think you got to be born in the era as long as you can appreciate it. And there's
Oh yeah.
definitely entire eras, a lot of black and white stuff I grew up on because what was on TV in the late '70s or early '80s. Well, there was a lot of stuff from the '60s and '70s, but there was a lot of older stuff being rerun on the weekends and whenever I'd be watching TV as a kid. I also grew up on soap operas. My mom used, oh my God, Days of Our Lives at 1 o'clock, and trying to think what was on it too. Another World or Guiding Light, depending on which one we wanted to watch. and then Young and the
Okay.
Restless at 4:30. So
Oh,
I grew up on the soap operas.
for me, my mom likes to hog the TV watching Young and the Restless and Coronation Street. Of course, my dad and I have our own nickname for the shows that aren't kid friendly. So,
Yeah,
but
but
still,
Coronation Street. I mean, to me, that's what I call a Canadian staple because we
oh
all watched it at some point.
yeah,
Um, and it's amazing to watch how it's changed over the years,
oh yeah.
where they moved the different sets to, and like something you didn't know they had moved the set, but they kept it growing the studio. Now it's quite elaborate, but I haven't watched it in a couple of years because my wife kind of gave up on it.
Huh.
When they put the beds together, it was a
Oh,
reference to Lucy putting the beds together because till Lucy they weren't allowed, and even more importantly, if a man and a woman were on a bed on camera, the man always had to have one leg on the floor. This was on. You look at the old movies and this and that and TV shows or whatever. If
okay.
you got to a point where a man and a woman, so that this is early cinema, was somehow in a bed, the man always had one foot on the floor usually because it meant he couldn't do certain actions. It's like,
Okay.
wow, early censorship was funny stuff, or what they thought you could do and not do, and what, if you did this, then it meant you couldn't do that. And it's like, wow, okay.
See, what's running through my head right now is if somebody tried to do that kind of style with those rules with a stop motion Lego kind of thing, how would they do that?
Oh my goodness.
Like, how weird would that look? Is this what's going through my mind when that's brought up?
Well, I mean, when you go far enough back in cinema, I mean, the silent movie era, music in the theater would have been done by the orchestra pit under the movie screen. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, early film reels had no sound, so black and white, 24 frames a second or whatever it was, machines that made a lot of noise. And if you had any sound effects at all, it'd be a guy with a piano or organ and whatever making all the noises while
Hmm,
the movie's. Oh yeah, I mean, if you go far enough back, for sure.
interesting.
Yep. Movie history's been incredible. It's come so far, so fast. And now you don't even need actors. I mean, the CG is incredible.
Hmm.
Coronation Street has become more American style. So are they still running Coronation Street? That's a question I have.
Yeah.
See, at one
I,
point in
I,
Canada, for us to watch it, if you were watching it on any Canadian station, we were 6 to 8 months behind. And
really?
oh yeah, um, and it got really annoying because we'd be seeing their Christmas episodes, in the spring or summer here, and my wife got really annoyed at that. So we started watching the BBC to get it fresh,
Yeah.
and it just got hard to watch. And that's probably when she gave up on it. It was just like, this is too much hassle.
I think for my mom, like when she watches it, it feels like it's a week or two behind.
Week or two behind.
Yeah, because like when it's the New Year's, you think that they'd be celebrating New Year's stuff, but no, they're still celebrating like prepping for Christmas kind of
Okay.
idea.
But I remember when, yeah, watching it on, say, CBC, it was like 6 months out and it was horrible.
Hmm.
And then I was so upset when certain characters, about 2 years ago, were being cast in a pretty bad light when certain things had come out about them and their I don't know if the word would be hobbies, but some of the things they do in their off time with
Yep,
women, yeah, and that
that's
was a
happened
little
a lot
upsetting.
with YouTubers nowadays. In fact, the one YouTuber I watch, apparently some info came out about some stuff she did like maybe 5 years ago. I mean, like, yeah, the stuff was pretty bad when you think about it, but that was 5 years ago. I don't know.
Okay, so Mama says 6 weeks Now it's 3 weeks. Okay, cool.
Oh,
But it used to be horrible. It was hard for us to watch.
okay. Try watching Ninjago. Like, if you want to be watching it officially, you're gonna have to end up waiting a few years to be quote unquote caught up. Um, because they don't like they used to release it consistently on Cartoon Network, and then it wasn't consistent. Apparently, it's consistent now, but it used to be really bad where they would only upload one episode once every 2 months. It would feel like, and then for Netflix never really updates anything right away. In fact, when they did, they weren't up to date. Up to date, like,
Yeah. Well, I
and
mean that's a licensing agreements.
oh yeah. So I have to resort to finding out. Okay, what are the people who actually live in the time zones where it's actually up to date? When are they going to start uploading it to YouTube? Because then I can piggyback off of their uploads.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, hey, more than once I wanted to watch something and like in every other way it's like, well, no, I guess I better run my little VNC, not VNC, my anonymizer, fake my IP, and go on to various networks to acquire my media.
Yeah,
And I do it. Geez, I hardly do it. It's funny because I still pay for private internet access and a few other services, but I hardly use it. It's
hmm.
almost not worth the trouble anymore, just because I can't be bothered. I mean, there was a day. This is before your time, but like, have you heard of Napster? Wow.
What?
What? Okay. Well, once upon a time, Napster's how almost anyone with an internet connection got their music without paying for it.
Hmm.
Yeah. That kind of went bye bye when people like Apple started selling songs for $1. And then
Yeah,
even later still, when we got streaming services where, $10 a month. Look, $10 a month, you can get Apple or Google. Does Google Music still exist? But anyway, you had Apple, Google, I mean Spotify to some extent. All these services, $10 a month. All the music you could ever listen to. It just made it so it wasn't worth pirating and burning. We used to burn CDs full of music. Oh my goodness. What a waste of time and money that turned out to be. So many of those CDs that we burned 20 years ago, they don't work now. You put them in a player, they're not readable. The
wow.
cyanide based recording medium for most of the CDs that were available in North America and in Asia, a lot of the chemicals they break down too fast. And of course, no one really knew, 5, 10, 20 years later, the CDs would be garbage. Oh. Cabbage faces in the house.
Oh, Mama Lego. Yeah, it was a pain because for Google, they had Google Play Music, and I was so used to that. I had my music downloaded, I can listen to it offline. And then now that they have YouTube Music, they want me to download a specific app now just so I can move those music onto there, but I can't uninstall Google Play Music,
Oh,
even though it's no longer a service
oh,
that I can't use.
okay.
So I'm just like, it's not worth having the space when I could have use that space for like recording videos. It's just that's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I
suffering.
seem to recall that. So yeah, so basically Google Music is dead, is
Yeah,
what you're
Google Play
saying.
Music.
It was dead or dying, and
Oh no,
they
they
want
kill.
everyone to be on YouTube Music or whatever they're
Yeah,
doing,
their new
and
thing.
yeah, I'm not a fan of that shenanigans.
Hmm.
And then even Apple, I think Apple has stopped selling music or will, and they're only going to stream it. So
That's
stuff has changed so much. But how can you convince anyone to buy music at 99 cents or less per song when for $10 a month they can have virtually anything, and we could have it portable, at least on our iPhones anyway. We could have half that library floating around with us as long as you log in once in a while. Um, how do you ever go back? You can't.
yeah. It kind of feels like they're counting on people who can afford to stream when they're not in like Wi-Fi zones, like they're paying for data. Meanwhile, the people like me, we can't afford to do that, so we're stuck abandoned because they're prioritizing on the people who can afford to do that, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, we're moving into the 5G era now, where when that's running properly, and that's if you put aside all the conspiracies about 5G going to kill us and the
Oh,
effects of radio waves on our bodies. Hey, I'm not going to pick
I
sides
hear
on
that
this
every
because
summer.
there's bits of truth to all conspiracies.
Oh yeah.
But and radio waves are not good for us. They're just not. But 5G era and full 5G and what you can accomplish with it, it's for a lot of people. Why have a computer at all? I mean, there's a reason that I'm using, the laptop I bought my wife, 2 years ago to stream on. I just because when my last computer died, I couldn't be bothered. I wasn't using computers anymore. I was using the TV for everything now because it had all the channels I want. You know, Netflix and Hulu and a whatever and a whatever and a whatever.
Right.
It's like I didn't need a computer anymore to get any of my content, and my cell phone was great for everything else I was doing. So it's like I didn't need a desktop computer or my own laptop anymore. And I wouldn't even be fussing over building a new PC except for streaming. And if I had maybe another dead cell phone or a cell phone I didn't care, I could probably get by with going back to cell phones because I started
Right.
streaming on a cell phone. My first videos, I had the cell phone like this, and that's how I was doing. I was recording my stuff. The only reason I stopped doing that was the phone was getting so hot, plugged in, recording, encoding, and shooting it out.
Mm.
And it was getting way too hot. Plus, when I was recording that way, I couldn't really interact with anyone unless I had a second computer anyway. So it's like, yeah, it wasn't smart to keep streaming with it.
Hmm.
And admittedly, I feel it definitely helped kill the original battery, which is why I had to put a new one in here. But that was a good experience.
Yeah, for me, I'm in that same, more or less same boat where I'm just streaming off the tablet. And one thing I've noticed a lot of people are starting to complain about is the camera's starting to seem foggy, even for my reviews. And I'm thinking, well, the camera is exposed, and I take the tablet with me everywhere. I just shove it in my pocket because, like, I'm using it all the time, and so that's probably why. Is because the lens is getting damaged. And so I'm thinking, do I invest in a camera to record videos, or do I invest in another device to do both recording and streaming?
Well, you can take any $40, $50 webcam, hook it up to any computer you got, and you'll get, 1080p, capabilities out of the camera that'll be comparable to whatever you're doing with the tablet.
Hmm.
So as long as you got a laptop or whatever, and this is not a beast of a laptop I'm using. I mean,
Okay.
it's got a not a spinning hard drive. It's got an SSD for its boot, but I got 3 webcams hooked up to it right now. It's not bad. And I normally before was doing all 1080p's. This is all technically 720, 720, 720 this way. Even though the cameras are providing 1080p images,
Right.
Streamlabs is only accepting this at 720. So
Hmm.
shooting it all out. I mean, this is not a load at all. I could probably run CPU benchmark, and it'll probably tell me it's at 50, 55% maybe on this i5. I assume it's an i5. Yeah, it's got to be an
Right.
i5. I couldn't afford an i7 at the time. Plus, she didn't need it. She just needed something boot fast, and that's where an SSD came in over a hard drive. SSDs rock, as long as they don't die on you.
Hmm. Are you on the
For
last bag for that? Oh, sorry.
oh yeah, this is it. This is the last 50 parts.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, no, I mean he looks functionally done. I'm building. I don't know what I'm building now. I'm building
It
something.
looks like the shoulders, like the shoulder armor things, whatever the heck they're called.
Okay. So
Just by
yeah,
looking
this guy's almost done. So Mama threw out 300 videotapes because you didn't have a working VCR anymore, or because all the images on them just looked like crap. Because here's the thing: whether they were commercial videotape or the ones we used to record on, the videotapes don't hold up either. And for a
Huh.
lot of people, the magnetic medium actually started, the particles started coming off to one side. So literally, people had very distorted video images, even if it was stuff they hadn't played much. completely trashed.
That's got me worried about a original VCR version of Toy Story I have sitting in my collection.
Protect it, keep it cool, dry, dark place, all that.
Yeah,
The
that's
only
fair.
thing I could recommend is, so if you got a videotape, you got VCR tape, VHS, Betamax, doesn't matter. If you got it like this, rotate it like this once in a while, once a month or something.
I just got it like
People,
this.
if you got it like this, you could flip it upside down just because eventually, if you have it one way, it all tends to go. If it's standing up, I know a lot of people think, oh, that's great because it won't come off the side of the tape. But the thing is, you have at least one exposed surface
Oh, this in the original,
where the heads are, where the trap door is
right?
on the edge of the cartridge. Well, if you open that door by pushing a little button on it, you'll see the tape is there. That surface can have magnetic particle come off. So rotating it, I mean, in the end, it's either going to work or it's not, right? And we're all going to
Right.
be looking at our old tapes. Hey, I got, I don't know, 300 tapes down there, all originals. I dread the day. I mean, I don't have a working VCR here anymore. I should buy one from Amazon because you can get them cheap. I think $50, $100, garbage VCR. People are still making them.
Okay.
Still making VCRs. You can still get them.
Yeah.
And then see if your stuff still works. Because I tell you, there's nothing sadder than having videotapes not being able to play them.
Hmm.
Because right now there's no money in them. There's no money in old VCR tapes.
Hmm.
Even sealed, wrapped in cellophane, there's no value, zero.
Wow.
No one's paying money. DVDs, wrapped, shrink wrapped, there are definitely collectors going after some from certain regions, especially when movies haven't been carried along. Like there were movies that came out on videotape and then DVD, but didn't necessarily come out on Blu-ray or anything newer.
Right.
So they're kind of slowly becoming lost to time. And if the originating movie companies or whoever has the rights to them, if they don't do anything with it, or worse, if they're gone, those movies are just going to disappear eventually. There's
Oh
a
yeah.
whole preservation society who is trying to get their hands on DVD and Blu-ray and videotapes, and they're trying to digitize them so we can keep them perpetually going. I'm all in favor of that. They have to be worried about copyright sometimes, but
Mhm.
I don't want to see this stuff disappear. So whatever they got to do, I'm in favor of.
Right.
But sometimes they got to break the law to do what they think is the right thing. There's a movie I'm trying to get my hands on. Rad. It's a BMX movie. It's a big deal from when I was a kid. I was into the BMXs. Well, it's never officially in North America been released on DVD or later.
Hmm.
7-Eleven in the early 80s, you can get it on VHS or Betamax on either format. And there was a few satellite companies that had a good 1080p version, and someone ripped that off and uploaded that to the internet. But we don't even have a good 1080p version released to retail anywhere. I'd love to get that movie.
Right.
I have copies of it on those videotapes, and Lord only knows what they look like. But yeah, it's kind of sad, the state of the videotapes and all the money we spend on them, videotapes, DVDs. So Mama was saying, yeah, so threw them out. The images were fading, and we replaced them with CD, and you can't find VCR players anymore. I disagree. I think if you look, you will, because I know the last time I did go looking, I found them. They're cheap. I wouldn't say they're great. They're not like the days when we had Panasonic and Toshiba players and whatever, or Kenwoods. Uh-oh. I smell doom. Sanyo combination VCR and DVD recorder. 1080p up conversion. Wow. What? 836? Really? Where'd you see that? Please don't tell me that's Amazon. Wait. Okay, I see 107 Canadian, and then I see 836.
Right?
So, so Mama, what is that? Is that 107 Canadian, or is that 836?
I think it's 836.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Do
I
you
know
pay
you
attention?
can.
Oh,
You
sorry.
can. No, I know you can get it cheaper than that. I know. I know. Maybe I'll go into the business. I'll. There's got to be someone who wants these stupid machines. I can't be the only one.
Right. Do you pay attention to
Freaks.
Lego leaks at all?
I did. I used to be all up into it. I used to be a number one for North America to post them at one point until I got a couple dings, and that.
Yeah.
So now when it comes my way, okay, and I'll tell it to a few people who are interested, but some people care, some don't care. Um, but yeah, I'm not. I'm probably not up to date on this year, really.
Okay, because like I'm looking at some leaked minifigures for Lego Video.
Okay.
If you want, I can send you the link to the post so you can look at it, and then we can discuss it if you want. I don't know.
Sure, sure. Yeah, it's something I can look at tomorrow. Why not?
Yeah, because like I don't know, I don't. Not a lot has been revealed about this Lego Video theme, and just I don't. And these minifigures confuse me even more.
Oh, there's the link. I was sitting there like, deep, what's that beep? And of course, this is how tied it into technology. I get it in the ear. My watch is beeping.
Right?
Jacob, blah blah blah. Send a link. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
No, I'm definitely a digital cowboy. I'm tuned into the tech. That's for sure.
yeah.
I love my toys. But yeah, I'll look at that tomorrow,
Oh
just
yeah,
so it'll give me something to look at. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't know if it's COVID or what, but so much of what I am into on YouTube, I, I'm I'm bored of, and maybe it's because we have so much time and we're not going
yeah.
out.
Starting to hit
And it's
that.
like I'm looking at. I mean, I probably got 400 subs. I'm not even kidding. It takes me like 5 minutes to go all the way down on my Samsung TV to go all the way down my subs if just on the TV.
Yeah.
So of course I don't bother. If I go through the A to Z list, it's like forget it. That's a lifetime. But I go with like, man, either the guys I like aren't producing much anymore, or I'm consuming it too fast, or there's just some people fall in and out of producing, or they're not making money anymore. There's definitely a lot of that going on. I mean, people I would watch 4 years ago, well, they don't make money now in most cases because of the apocalypses that happened.
Yeah.
There's some guys who, because of what they used to do was technically a crime, YouTube won't monetize them. And it's weird because then I watch other guys who are committing crimes every day and they record it and they're making good money. There's one guy I watch now. He's in Europe. His name is Schley.
Okay.
And he believes in the ultimate freedom. He is basically traveling around Europe, jumping trains, hobo
Hmm.
style. But he's not broke. He was never broke. This
Okay.
this guy was never, without money. But this is a guy who wanted adventure. He was bored and just seeking, something to do. And then he saw all these other people, especially in the states, hobos basically, who were somehow videotaping themselves, but hopping trains. He goes, well, I could do that in Europe. Europe's more interesting. He's right because the places he goes are forbidden, and he's taking it further to not just hopping trains, but he's gone like into Chernobyl. He's gone into all kinds of places that are restricted and forbidden, and hopping fences and stuff. And virtually everything he's doing is trespassing.
Hmm.
Now I don't know if he's making any YouTube money anymore. I know he's got a Patreon, but he lives so light and simple. He doesn't need much, and he's just having a heck of a time. I mean, and the best thing about his videos, they're not all smiley. Well, first you never see his face. He was wearing a mask before COVID, so I've never seen his face.
Okay.
Um, but when you see what he's doing, and he's living so simple, and you're not seeing that everything's perfect or rosy. Most of his videos are how unsuccessful he is. Like, I spent 3 days trying to find a train to go one direction. I end up going the wrong way twice. I mean, and it's just amazing that he keeps his channel up and running, and he's still finding ways to upload his content in whatever country he's in.
Hmm.
So I mean, him I find endlessly entertaining. Although my wife hates it because she goes, "Oh, the audio's awful." Because whenever he's on a train, it's all and wind. He never has like a sock or a cat's tail on the microphone, so it's always
Hmm.
pretty nasty audibly. He's definitely not an audio engineer, that's for sure. But I love his stuff.
Yeah. You're saying you're not sure if he's earning money off it. From what I understand from the YouTube Partner Program, if you're uploading videos that are monetized, whatever, they're eligible to earn money. If you're uploading like if you stop uploading within 6 months, then you lose it, but then you have to reapply.
Oh
Um,
wow, eh?
if that makes sense. This is the best way I think I can explain it is if as long as you're uploading consistently, but once you stop uploading within a 6 month time frame, like 6 months straight, then you lose it and then you got to reapply. I think it's the best way I can explain it.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense because if you are getting monetized and you're making money and you're producing good videos and you're getting eyeballs, they want you to keep going.
Hmm.
So I absolutely get that. They don't want you taking a break.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
Uh, T-Fan Doom is looking to get the new X-Wing and TIE Fighter. I recommend it. I think they're great little builds. I can't wait to get around to building the both sets. I got them. But yeah, I, I, I if you're into Star Wars, why not? It's a cheap way to get into them too. Here, I'm gonna build this kind of ass backwards. So I'm supposed to do 2x of this. Bang, bang. Well, it'll be neat when I eventually get there. Well, I
Yeah.
will. But I'm not stressing over it now. When it happens, great. It'll be, I'll do a little victory dance, and I'm sure I'll do something for those who helped get me there.
Hmm. I mean, like for me, what I did, to me, it felt like it was something special, but probably to other people, it wasn't. I don't know. I mean, like I didn't have the intent when I uploaded that video to gain money off of it. In fact, I was counting on there to be a copyright claim, and instantly there was, and I was like, "Yep, that's what I was expecting." And then the thing is, I said it as the premiere like 3 days before it was supposed to premiere, and as soon as it was uploaded, bam, copyright claim.
I've had, I had on Facebook, actually, more so on Facebook, my streams get pulled down while I'm streaming.
Really?
Yeah, because of something I showed. Um, and then someone made a complaint about some comment that was made and stuff. So yeah,
Huh.
I've been pulled right off live. And it's
Interesting.
funny because Facebook, I actually found, and the automated algorithms too, that Facebook was using was actually more aggressive than what YouTube was using.
Hmm.
Yeah. But hey, lesson learned, don't do shit. Or do it and don't care.
Hmm.
It's definitely easier if you don't care.
Yeah.
Or if you don't have some lofty end goal. But I used to use all kinds of tracks and stuff that I had no rights to. And
Yeah.
I've since removed some of those. I have re-uploaded with new tracks in some cases where I cared enough about the content that I wanted it up, one way or the other. And then I used the YouTube tool to try and remove some bad audio once. It's like, that was hit or miss. It kind of destroyed the video.
One thing that's really bothering me is I pre-recorded most of my gaming channel videos, and I only post once a week on that channel. And I've still trying to upload episodes from my playthrough of the Lego Ninjago movie video game. And every time, every episode, after I upload it, it instantly gets copyright claimed for like 30 seconds because, like, in the Lego games, they use some of the movie clips in the games, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so for that, there's like a 10-second movie clip that was used as a cutscene because for whatever reason, probably to save money from the people making the game. But still, that always gets claimed to make it so that if I do get monetized on that channel, that video will never earn money because of that 10 little second segment, and it's for every single video. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm just uploading these videos for the sake of uploading them. It's not for the fact of seeing how many views you can get anymore because it's just Warner Brothers is, like it says the Warner Brothers is the one that's the one kicking the video in the teeth
Right.
over a 10-second segment sometimes.
Ooh, I got a problem, I
So,
think. Well, it looks like these shoulder pieces that I just made, it looks like
yeah,
they connect on top, and it's looking like I probably need one of these Technic pins.
yeah.
Okay, so... Oh, I got one. Okay. I thought it was short. I didn't realize I'd already pinned one in there because I'm looking. I need two. All
Right.
right. Failure to follow instructions.
Another
Cool.
thing I have to worry about for my gaming channel is on my main channel, I try and be family friendly ish. Whereas
Right.
if you go onto my gaming channel, it's me unleashed, basically.
Oh. It's
I mean,
funny, like I'm a big fan of Dr. Disrespect, who's now exclusively, I guess, on YouTube because he got kicked off of Twitch.
right?
But, you know, from my days playing online when I used to be big into it on Xbox, the
Mhm.
cursing and the language was so foul. I tell you, you couldn't get away with it now between either
Oh
people
no.
complaining or they'll flag you or whatever.
Oh yeah. I'm waiting for the day that happens for my gaming channel. Like
Yeah.
I pulled it back a little bit, because I'm worried for that, but you'll still hear me using it's like I have a completely different personality. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I do basically. Whenever, like, I've had times where I have my own gaming sessions by myself, and I'm just swearing like a sailor. It feels.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know how it couldn't be, but of course, back like 2001 and 2006 when I was playing Xbox Live all the time, and a lot of time it would be in a lobby with a lot of friends. We'd say we're doing, 8 versus 8 on Halo. You know, my team members could hear me and stuff, but it's like, um, we're all cursing because we're all getting shot and we're all getting sniped and this and
Yeah.
that. And I don't know how we would survive today.
Oh no.
Um, yeah, we get pulled off for sure.
Yeah, you have to censor everything. The thing is, you can't use the commonly known censor button because YouTube detects that, is what I've researched. And so they'll still pull it down if you use that certain things. You have to be creative. One of the favorite things is Mythzan. He does Minecraft videos. Of course, he swears in it, but he's created what he calls a censored duck. So every
Yeah,
time,
quack
yeah,
quack. Yeah, quack quack. Yeah. And there's definitely been guys over the years who've done that on YouTube and a few others. Dolphin sounds. Whatever a dolphin sounds like. And I thought, oh, that's just genius. I mean, just to cover up the naughty bits. But
mm-hmm.
yeah, Mom was right though. It's hard to watch some of the video game guys. It's the audio's just way over the top.
I can't watch my
But
friend play FPS games anymore because at the rate he's going, I'm like, what dimension are you in at this rate of speed? Like, I'm the same age as him for Pete's sake, and I can't keep up with how he's able to know. Okay, there's someone behind me. Pull the trigger. Like,
literally the idea of Twitch playing, how fast they're moving and stuff like. Yeah, I couldn't get into that now. I
then again,
definitely.
I was like that in laser tag in real life.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think my family was the Calgary Questers, like the people that represented the Laser Quest Center in Calgary. The staff knew us. Almost everyone that walked in that was a regular knew us. We
Oh
were not
wow.
with. In fact, everyone knew me as the head of the insert last name here tribe. um, and how the totem went was I was at the top because I always got top three every time. I had one time. I'm sorry, I'm getting off track here, but I had one time where I was feeling really queasy, and I was like money was already invested into the game for me to play, and I was like, I'll play, but like for me, I always play on the top level, and that way I can snipe and do my thing, and I move around like really fast, and it's like a blur for other people who are trying to go up against me. But for that game specifically, where I was feeling really queasy, I was on the lower levels. You never see me on the lower levels, and my dad was quite surprised when I came out of that round, and he looked at the scoreboard, and I was first place, my usual, by over 1,000 than this person in second place, and I was feeling like drunk. And surprisingly enough, after that round, I ran right to the washroom.
Wow.
And but yeah, for me, I was at the top of the totem pole, always first, top three, by a bunch normally. Second place was, I guess, my dad, mainly because he was really competitive about it. I was just like, I could just go in there feeling queasy and get first place by a bunch. And then my sister, mainly because she had a side of stealth for her. And then my brother was on the bottom, but he did pretty good, I'd say. But yeah.
Hey, I remember playing Laser Quest. Wow,
Oh,
when I was a lot younger. That's been around forever.
oh no, it recently closed its doors in August last year.
All locations or just the one near you?
I think pretty much all locations, and that was really something because it was kind of hard saying goodbye. I uploaded a video of the location on the last day just because I knew that the place was going to be refurbished to something else. It's going to be replaced with a new company that does laser tag, and I don't like that company with how they do stuff. And it's going to be interesting how they do that. Um, yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. It happens to the best of us. But I tell you, laser tag was fun.
Yeah.
Thing is, we used to cheat with laser tag because it's. Well, here's the thing. So, you. I don't know if you had the full setup. So you had the chest, front and back.
Yeah, yeah.
We also
Sure.
we the gun, the shoulder. We even had the helmet stuff.
Wait, they had help.
Um, Here we did, yeah. Here's the thing. So here's how we cheated with IR, because it's all IR based, right? You can have candles or bright flashlights or whatever, and you could really mess up the gameplay.
Okay.
The same way, like if you have the old Nintendo Wii, you didn't need to have the light bar for infrared. You could take a candle and a candle, and you aim your controller, your remote, and you could have all the functionality because the sensor in the remote would see whatever the light source was that was producing IR.
Okay.
Any light that produces heat generally will produce some IR, some infrared. So, yeah, we had all kinds of things, but don't think of them as grenades. Just think of them as hot spots, right?
Okay.
And if we threw it, it was like a flashbang, but it was so bright, basically, it would just activate everyone's hit sensors.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to accurately shoot anybody. We
Oh,
literally, no, we had these things and they're cheap. They only cost us like $2 or $3 or whatever. And you throw it and psh, guess what? Anyone who was close, it was great because we're playing laser tag with grenades effectively because
yeah.
their sensors would go off and all we had to do to make sure is we would cover our sensors. So we could throw it, you cover your sensor, and we wouldn't get hurt. We could be point blank, and it's like, but guess what? All your sensors went off. Yeah. So
Yeah.
something you may not have known about infrared. Yeah.
There's a lot of cheating tricks because, like, I think the packs here in Calgary were a lot different than the ones you were describing. And there was obviously a bunch of cheating tricks. Our group found out about, and we even used a few times because, like, we were all alone. We could try that. We could practice, see if we can. Like, we mastered almost every technique we could think up of to combat other techniques that newbies come up with. Um, I feel like I go on and on telling about the techniques and such because what's the point in keeping them a secret now?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're not hurting anyone now.
Oh yeah.
Trying to figure out how to transform this guy because I forgot he's got this whole second mode, right?
Does the tongue twister? Can't you just like push him down? Won't that give him that, or is that just?
Um, It's not much of a transformation.
Yeah.
Okay, why are they showing?
Does that mean that's the first ever technical Lego Transformer then?
Uh, probably. I'm looking.
I guess I might as well spill some tips and tricks for cheating in case somebody wants to time travel. So for the guns, they had to used to have these telephone cords connected to the pack and then the blaster. And so one way you could cheat is if you're under heavy fire, just unplug the damn thing and then go run. Just I had that a few times. There were a bunch of little kids who were annoying me. I like literally cheesing me off, and I'm just like, okay, you keep hitting me. Okay, how about this? Hit me now. And they're like, we can't hit him, we can't
Oh,
hit him. So I walk behind them, and then they're like, oh, I guess we can't hit him. We'll just move on. I get behind them, plug it back in, and I have an internal timer going on of when it boots back up. And as soon as they are within out of range of seeing me turn around and they're in line with the mirror,
oh.
I was an aggressive player when I wanted to be.
I'm halfway through this oh, I hope that was all supposed to come out. Okay. Why? Out. Okay. This is not much of a transformation. This is pretty weak. Wow. That should go up. Yeah, I would not call this impressive.
Oh yeah.
And yet half the guns are still facing backwards.
Huh.
What, that is so... I don't know if that's because this is LEGO's best effort to mimic a transformation of the character. So, okay, no head. That seems like a missed opportunity to do something. Alright, so apparently that's the cannon or gun mode or something or other.
Doesn't look
You
like
know what?
much.
It doesn't look like much. It's definitely not going to be displayed like that because that looks like a double S. What's T-Fan saying here? YouTube's made for people to freely upload content. You know what? It never was, and if that was ever said, it was a lie. Because today's YouTube, oh my God! I mean, I watch a few guys like the Quartering. I can't remember what his full name is. His name's Jeremy, but he's got 1 million subscribers, and he's worried about getting, shit canned any day now. Because the topics he covers are kind of borderline sketchy sometimes, and other people get their channels demonetized or taken off completely for the stuff he covers. And to see him rip on some of the stuff he does and talk about it, it's like I think he's brave because he's going to lose his monetization. But yeah, YouTube is not a place for free speech or
Mm-mm.
everyone uploading the stuff. It's not. And now neither is Parler because people went after Parler, even though if you wanted to blame what happened with the U.S. Capitol attack, they went after Parler. It's like, why? Almost everything was organized on Twitter. No one's going after Twitter. Go after Twitter. I mean, that's where most of the shenanigans was going on. And you look at Twitter. Twitter, in the last 4 weeks, there was a parent who was trying to get some child porn taken down and couldn't. And for 2 weeks, they were screwing out saying, oh, it didn't violate our terms of service because of this and that. But if there's a copyright issue, are you kidding me? You got people saying it's child porn. Take it down. No, it was retweeted hundreds and hundreds of times. And, the 160,000 people who liked it or did whatever, like no one's gone after them either. And they only eventually got taken down because the parent went to the FBI or something and got some federal agents to intervene because Twitter wasn't doing anything. They literally straight up said this content wasn't actually going against the terms of service. Like, what does it take to go against the terms of service on Twitter? That's crazy. Because I think almost everyone universally would say, CP is something we could take off of Twitter with a smile and make it go away. I know there's always going to be the creeps who want it, but it's like, as a whole, I think, can universally say, get it off of Twitter. No, Twitter's still up and around, no problem. But free speech, nah, not on YouTube, not on Twitter, not anywhere. And Parler, so they went after Parler, and they basically got rid of Parler, at least temporarily, because what they did was Google, Amazon, Apple, they all went after them. So you can't get the apps, and then AWS, Amazon World Services or whatever. Well, they were the internet backbone for Parler. Well, they just decided we're not going to lease you access to the internet anymore or storage. Like, are you kidding? So we cannot have any competition to YouTube, and definitely we can't have any free speech, because I don't necessarily agree with a lot of what was going on in Parler, but it was a place where if some stuff you said wasn't too kosher or wasn't popular on YouTube, and you got shit canned on YouTube, well, now you had a place to go. Now you got nowhere to go. Yeah, it's a scary time. And if you make your money from the internet, you've always got to have that plan B, because, I mean, YouTube at any moment will take it away from you. We give it, and
Yeah.
it taketh away. I mean, the guys who are smart, the ones who have merch and have other ways of making money, because that monetization thing, not forever.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you can look at some of the internet darlings like Phil DeFranco. Do you know who that is?
No, I
Pop,
don't really know that
pop,
many.
popular YouTuber, been around like a decade or whatever. Um, YouTube actually supported him once upon a time and was giving him money to make content, because he was one of those premier YouTuber guys.
Hmm.
And so he produced a couple of channels like SourceFed and a few others. These are all channels that had millions upon millions of subscribers, was making mad money. And then the adpocalypse happened. And then you had this whole thing where YouTube was cracking down on anyone trying to do news who wasn't old school news media. So it's like, you and me can't do news, but CNN can come in on YouTube after we help make YouTube, both as a viewer or as a content creator.
Hmm.
But you and me can't do news because we're not deemed to be journalists or whatever. But CNN, who has time and again lied, Fox News, who's time and again lied, you name MSNBC, time and again lied. They're okay, and they're now able to come into YouTube, and they can become, the official news people on YouTube. But it's kind of funny, because you already had too many people entrenched on YouTube who don't trust mainstream media. They don't trust CNN, Fox, or MSNBC or the others to feed them the news, because they've lied so much and got caught with their hands in the cookie jar. But we will freely trust someone like you or me a lot more, who can very quickly pivot and move with whatever's hot in the news and talk about it pretty freely
Hmm.
until YouTube smacks us in the hands and say no, or Twitter smacks us in the hands and say no, you can't do that anymore. But it's funny. I was watching CNN, and they want to, in this funny, it's in the States, but they didn't want to directly say, we want to take people off of YouTube, because they don't want to basically say they're censoring them. But they say we should go after Comcast and the other cable networks who are providing the internet, who are giving a home to these guys, putting their stuff out there on YouTube. Well, what's YouTube supposed to do? Of course, YouTube's going to have to crack down and get rid of some of these guys. They don't want to lose pipelines to the internet. So you're going to have this huge conspiracy where everyone's going to get rid of anyone on YouTube that's got a certain point of view. Not that I'm a Trump supporter, but he got elected, and not because of everything he said was stupid. Some people thought some of what he said was smart. He did do a lot of things. He did a lot of dumb things and a lot of bad things, but not everything he did was bad for America.
Hmm.
I truly believe that guy thought he was doing the best he could within what he thought was okay in here. But, I mean, he had balls, and he took control over certain things that a lot of people were wishy-washy on. Whatever. I mean, if it's really bad stuff he did, then they'll roll it back, and the good stuff they'll leave alone. And I don't believe Biden is going to change everything Trump did in 4 years. Mm-mm. because you know what? For every guy who comes into office, you usually see it where, they'll cry foul about a lot of stuff, but they don't change much once they get in. They just don't. Especially if something was working. Even if it's unpopular, if it was working, they leave it alone, or they just, hide it from their sight. Going to be an interesting couple of years, that's for sure.
You got me like in regards to like the news thing where YouTube's stopping people because certain things. That's got me reminded about the whole drama that's going on between Lego and Ryan M&R Productions.
How so?
Well, apparently they asked him to take down a video that he had where he was given some theory material regarding possible summer sets for Star Wars.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. And so apparently he is kind of cheesed off about that because apparently there are other YouTubers who have had their videos still kept up.
Yeah,
But
so he's being singled out, he feels, and everyone else is okay.
yeah,
See, he's a very unique cat, and we've talked about this a little bit before,
yep,
where he, you know, he whined and cried to get onto land,
yep,
and then he got it against what we all thought would happen. He did it, and then it's like I thought, oh, okay, so now he's gonna suck up and do whatever. Well, I mean, maybe he does at times, but at other times, like, man, he's still mouthing off and saying some things the other guys aren't. Like David Hall, Solid Brick Studios. When he slams a set, he doesn't slam a set. I've never heard him rip a set hard ever.
mm-hmm.
Mandar Ryan, he's done it a few times. He's been very critical of some stuff, and now they're actually asking him to do something, and he's not going to do it, or he's resisting. That's going to make for some interesting times ahead for him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like he's taking the video. It's just the fact that he's crying about it, basically.
Well, he should, he has every right to be upset. But, I mean, if he was told something in a certain level of confidence, see, that's something he should be respecting, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm just checking out what T-Fan said here.
Oh, didn't they have an app that was called YouTube Kids?
Well, that's what I thought was funny. So they had YouTube Kids, but meanwhile, the terms of service for YouTube, you weren't supposed to be under 13 and using it. Meanwhile, you had the YouTube Kids crap. And then, when YouTube got their hands spanked a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, for basically directly advertising to children, that's basically what they got. They got spanked for that. So then they come down hard on us as content makers, when really they weren't guarding their back doors.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't mind because we were the ones bringing in all the views and all the kids and everything else. So, yeah, I mean, and then YouTube just passed the buck, and it's like, oh, we'll make all the content creators, they're going to have to safeguard their own houses, and we won't help them, and we will give them a very sparse set of rules, and good luck. Hope you guys do okay and don't get caught by COPA. Yeah, no, YouTube is YouTube Kids, but the parents, that's not good enough. Well, that's the thing. Parents aren't parenting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Parents don't parent, and then if their kids do or see something they shouldn't, or worse, they get into a chat on a stream and they talk to someone they shouldn't, bad things happen. This is parenting 101. You're a bad parent if your kids are doing this stuff online and you don't know it. You're a bad parent. And if the reply is, oh, I can't be there all the time for my kids, maybe you shouldn't be having kids. If you don't know what your kids are doing at all times, you're a bad parent. I'm sorry.
I was wondering the exact same.
I know what my daughter's doing at all times, and I track my daughter. I got tracking apps on the phone, the ones she knows about and the ones that she doesn't know about. People are so willing to pass the buck and blame YouTube. It's just like when I was younger, everyone blamed TV for how we turned out and how, gun violence and this and that and video games and TV shows and movies. And now it's YouTube. YouTube is the great evil because everyone, what do? I see it every time I go into a mall. Every parent with a kid in a stroller, what's the kid in the stroller holding?
Oh,
Mommy's
they're
cell phone.
having a big
Mommy's
giant tablet.
or tablet, right? But at least the cell phone. And they're watching crap and playing stupid games, and almost every game's got ads on it. Parents aren't parenting, and they're blaming everything.
It's a babysitter, is what it really is.
Yeah, it's the modern day babysitter, and it's even better. And I tell you, it's actually even more scary. I mean, there was ways before, you could take a TV, block out channels, do this, do that. But you give the kid a tablet with YouTube, click, click, click. I mean, don't give me this stuff about the parenting and the passwords, the parental lock. It's garbage, and the kids get past most of that anyway. But I mean, YouTube's open, and at any time I can find whatever nefarious content, whether it's CP, whether it's just regular porn, whatever. You can find it all over YouTube. You just got to use creative search terms. The stuff might only be up for a few hours and then it's down. Virtually any movie can be found, but it has different names for it, and
Yep.
they're up. And I'm just playing around, and I trip over them sometimes. And you can start watching the movie, and then halfway through it gets taken down because they do catch on. But before I catch on to it, 5 million, 10 million, 50 million people have streamed it, and then they catch on that it's something they shouldn't have on YouTube, and they delete it. I've actually seen movies where someone has done something funny and they upload it flipped so that it will they think it'll evade the YouTube censors and algorithms. It will for a little while. I've seen movies uploaded with a snow effect put in front of it. It's enough of a scatter effect that it screws up enough frames that it fakes out the algorithms used to detect copyright materials. There's just so many ways around YouTube, and YouTube is sitting on so much naughty content that they're not supposed to have on there, and they hide behind, oh, we don't upload it, so we shouldn't be responsible. But at the same time, they turn around and they come after us for the content we upload. I don't know. They want to be the police and not the police at the same time. They want to
Yep.
be responsible and not responsible. Yeah, it's horseshit. And it's funny because I think a lot of people would like to see, if not YouTube, then something that's free and open. Make it so it's for adults or for whatever, so that you could click on stuff you want, and so you could have the conversations you want. I'm not talking about making bombs and overthrowing governments, but
Oh, no.
that content's going to be there because guess what's there anyway. Do you know? If you saw half the stuff I've watched in the last 2 months, you know what I've seen a lot of? How to make homemade guns. 3D printing guns has stepped up in the last year because guess what? People were bored at home. They're buying 3D printers. Before, if you made a 3D gun, chances are it would explode in your face. Not anymore. 90% of the gun can be made now. 3D
Oh, no.
printed, YouTube instructions, a handful of free sites, free software, $100 printer from Amazon, and off the shelf parts from Home Depot for the rest of it. For a 90% plastic gun that won't explode.
Jeez.
If you want a plastic gun you could use once or twice, you can have it 100% plastic. That's scary because that also means you could get through airport security. Plastic gun, right? That's on YouTube. Not hard to find. Not hard to find. I don't have it in my subs or anything, but I got it in here, so I know what to look for.
Yeah.
And some of those guys are already gone from 2 months ago, and some of the guys are uploading. So yeah, we're part of this and this movement. We know YouTube probably won't let us stay up. And 3 or 4 weeks later, they're still up, and one or two of them are gone now. But then I watched one guy interviewing a guy who helped upload some of these plans, and they're talking, and it's like, I don't know. YouTube has got a big problem on its hands.
Hmm. I look at some of the stuff that is uploaded when it comes to Lego stuff. People are miscommunicating what their content is. They're saying, "Oh yeah, it's stop motion," but it's something more cringeworthy than that. And then they say, "Oh yeah, this is my channel intro," and it's literally just 2 second or like a 10-second clip from the show that is Lego related.
Uh,
And it shows the Cartoon Network logo as well.
Yeah, that seems like a quick way to get in trouble.
And I'm like, how are you monetized? Like, how? And then you're sending people to go attack other channels. Isn't that like illegal or something?
It's
Like,
supposed, yeah, effectively doxing them or, at least harassment.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I watch, and that guy I was telling you about the quartering, he talks about guys all the time, and he says, well, this person who was on YouTube had this many subs, and then they started a war with this guy, and once it got a little out of control, then he sent all his subs to go to the other guy's live streams and make his life hell. It's like, that
Oof.
ain't cool. I
No, it
mean,
ain't.
it's not supposed to be that way. Mama, actually, I won't put Mama's comment up, but I got it.
Yeah, that actually reminded me of the YouTuber I was saying earlier on, who is taking a break because some past stuff from 5 years ago is catching up with them. And it's basically right up that alley. So,
I like T-Fan's comment here. That's the thing. We know we're not supposed to use it, and if we do, we can't cry about it.
yeah. I mean, like, I know I have about like 30 plus videos just waiting to get smacked, and I'm waiting for it. I've prepped myself for it can
I mean,
happen.
if you use the content from a known service where they won't turn around and flip later and change the rights designation from open and free to you got to pay for it or something, that's great.
Well, it's
But
the instruction
there's a
video.
lot of services right now where like if you're on Twitch and if you use two of those services that provide you with these songs, in 3 or 4 years, the original owner could turn around and say, oh, I don't want it to be free and available anymore. Well, now you've got it attached to your video. Ding. So you got to be really careful. It's tough.
Oh,
I'd love to have music playing in
yeah.
the background. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
even let my wife watch the TV because I told you I got caught on just doing Facebook live streams where the act of broadcast got me dinged because it was hearing some of the stuff that was pre-recorded. It's like, nope. Take it easy, Mama. Thanks for joining us.
I mean, like for
This,
me, the Mario instructions, I mean, like it's on a free app. The whole point of getting the sets is so that you can use the free app to get the instructions. And the whole point of me uploading set instructions is just so because I know that there's going to be people who can't get the app, their device just isn't compatible.
yeah,
But then I'm being told, yeah, the instructions belong to Lego, and Lego might not like that you've uploaded them. And I'm like,
apps. Yep.
yeah, I get that, but I'm trying to do it for a good cause, hopefully.
Yeah. In the end, that good cause will just get you flagged eventually.
Yeah, I mean, like,
See, here's the thing: you're small, you fly under the radar as long as you can. But once you hit a certain point,
yeah, I
it's
think
like
like
Facebook contacted me because now I can be monetized for certain things on Facebook now.
really,
Yep. Um, yeah, they said my content fits into such and such and such. I still haven't investigated further because I'm sure there's some things I got to be wary of dealing with them.
right?
And I just haven't been too bothered with it because I'm sure something will have to change or I'll have to be even more careful than I am these days.
Right.
But yeah, you can't be a Robin Hood do-gooder. It doesn't work because if you want to get monetized and all that good stuff later and not get sued, there's the other thing too, right? You don't want to get sued.
I mean, like for me, I'll probably just end up privating the videos like a month or two from now, just to be safe. Because I
If
mean,
you
like,
really here's my advice to you. If it's on YouTube, if you feel that it has content in it that could get you in trouble, take it off the service because you can get dings for stuff people can't see.
well, I mean, like
Yeah.
it's literally me opening up the app, hitting the screen record button, and then just flipping through the instructions, and then showing off the little tutorial videos that are shown in the app as well, and that's
I
it.
I was very careful generally when I'm building. There's enough obscurity that no one could reasonably build anything from what I do. Whether I'm putting this on one side or the other, or I got my hands obscuring something, or the way I've always got my arms over the instructions.
Right.
I'm not worried about showing off anyone's instructions because that's basically illegal reproduction of their printed material. If
Yeah.
if someone were to ever make a claim that I'm showing page for page, you know, even when I get books, when I bought books in the past, I would show, every other page, a handful of pages. Oh yeah, look at this page, look at this page. Being careful not to show the whole thing because I don't want someone saying I'm illegally reproducing and distributing their printed material because it's real. They can go after you. And in Canada, the copyright laws are taken pretty seriously. They're not lax here. It's a real deal. In some countries, you can get away with a lot. YouTube can bounce you off their service, but beyond that, there's nothing in certain jurisdictions anyone could do to you for copying, say, a Lego manual or whatever, or someone's video or song. But like where we are in Canada, oh no, don't play around, dude. Don't play around.
The thing is that my mindset is I'm doing what in my mind the same thing that people who did for Lego Dimensions are doing. They're uploading the Lego Dimensions instructions, and they're still up to this day. Of course, they're not monetized, and there when I contacted Lego and asked them, okay, is there any other way besides the app I can access these instructions? Oh yeah, they're on our thing where you can download them digitally. And I go there, and it's the little pamphlet you get that isn't instructions. And so I'm like, do I keep these videos up or not? Because literally they say one thing, but it's actually just the one way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here's a link to that pamphlet that tells you to come online and use the tablet and use the app. It's like, yeah, thanks a lot, Lego. Yeah. No, it's funny. People wanting printed instructions. You go to lego.com. A lot of what's been made in the last 20 years is posted. Not everything.
Yeah.
And before 2000, almost nothing. If you want those instructions, there's other, brickinstructions.com or a few other things. And people PDF'd a bunch of stuff. Granted, the instructions were a lot simpler. It didn't take too long to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's plenty of places you can find the printed instructions for everything Lego hasn't or won't put up there. And, I'm surprised that to this day, they're not that hard to find. Lego hasn't done their due diligence or doesn't care. They're not being harmed, especially on the older stuff.
Right.
You can't buy it from Lego. Lego can't make any money off you. You can't buy the set. There's no money lost at this point, and especially if the guy hosting it isn't making any money. Where they can get in trouble is if they have ads, because if you host ads in the same place where you're hosting someone's copyrighted material, published printed material, then they can say, okay, since you're making ad revenue from those ads, and what brings people to your site is my published printed instructions from 19 something, guess what, you're now making money off my IP, my published material. I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to sue you and get X number of dollars. Now Lego's not necessarily going to have to go after a small guy, but they go after enough people and threaten to go after enough people that you have to take every threat from them seriously. And if you get someone like Ryan, who's now, now having his little tit for tat with them because they want him to do something and he doesn't want to, he wants to keep some integrity. I wouldn't want to be him, because while they may have nothing to sue over, they can make his life very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in the past when he used to show lots of photos he shouldn't show.
Right.
And then he got scared because he saw what happened to a few of the other guys like Brick Show and whatever.
Yeah.
It got real serious when they got pinched because we were all following the content from that channel. And yeah, it's scary stuff. And we all just want to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no one wants to get sued. No one wants to lose what they've got, what they've built.
Right.
For something so silly.
I mean, like you were saying, for the whole like someone's earning money off of the copyrighted thing. That's one of the main reasons why I haven't monetized said Mario instructions, is because of that exact same thing. I'm worried is going to happen to me. Uh, I could. It's definitely could bring in a lot of money for me, but at the same time, I'm thinking if I do that, I'm going to end up probably losing a lot more in the end, or just
Yeah.
losing everything.
See, I can almost remember the first time I got pinched um, by Lego on Facebook for leaked photos that I was posting from Europe, from Eurobricks. They were both on Reddit and on Eurobricks. It was getting posted, and then within 20 minutes, I'm posting to as much of North America as I can. So I'm getting a lot of early views, and all of a
Right.
sudden, boom! I did a lot of my early climbs that way, and it was great until I got so big, and then I found out that oh yeah, my people were cross posting my stuff to XYZ sites, and it's like oh, see, they were cross posting my stuff to bigger sites, so I got more eyeballs too fast, and I got the wrong eyeballs looking at my stuff, and it's like oh yeah, we're gonna stop you from doing what you're doing because they weren't stealing my material; they were direct linking to me, and people would see my stuff, which is great until it wasn't great. And then when it happened the first time, it's like, ooh, I was only uploading to YouTube and I wasn't even putting my face out there. I wasn't even putting my audio out there yet. I was
Right.
just making videos and putting it on YouTube just as an archival way for me to see something I built before I tear it apart.
Hmm.
But I was doing more and more on Facebook. It's like, oh, I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose this. And then I guess it was about a year and a half ago. Actually, it was probably 2 years ago now when I stopped doing the leaks because I didn't want to lose what I had already. I didn't want to start over. I could have started over. Even if they say, "Oh, you can't come back on the platform," there's a way. I could have done something interesting. I could have put on a stupid insect mask like some people on YouTube, you know, in Lego. They got a mask. They never show their face. There's ways. I've even played with some color filters using the other software. I could be all blue right now. You know, I could have a lot of fun distorting who I am. I'm looking forward to seeing T-Fan's new Snups entries.
Hmm.
I've got a shitload of stuff to add to Snups. I'm about 3 weeks behind. Thank God I have no new bricks this week. I got to take like 2 weeks of new bricks and put those on. And then everything my wife has done, including this cabinet, none of those have been updated on my Snups. So I got to take all those out, take my pictures, update my Snups. That'll help
Right.
reduce some of my backlog. Because that's probably a good 15 or 20 sets. No, maybe 15. And then one of these was new. And of course, these I got to update. All my builds here. So tomorrow will probably be a photography day. I'll sit on that side of the desk. I'll put a board on here, use my clamps, and just spend all day
Right.
uploading photos to my phone, or taking pictures with my phone and then uploading them to Google Photos, and then eventually updating my Snups. Tell you,
Right.
these things are great for like a buck or a buck 20 Canadian. Oh, you can get a lot of exercise with these clamps. Tell you, if I was in the mafia, these are what I would put on people's nuts.
Yeah,
They're nasty.
I believe it.
Oh, you already got them up on your Snups now. Oh, I got some more stuff to look at tomorrow. Boy, it's gonna be a great day to procrastinate. You gave me a link, which I'm just gonna leave it in the tab open because I got it on the watch. But it's easier just to. Where is it? Yeah, there's the link. Oh,
Yes.
oh, is it just the four photos? The four figures? Sorry.
Uh,
Huh. Well, I know a lot of people would love those figures. Wow. That second one is crazy looking. Oh, he's an ice cream or something, right? Yeah, he's an ice cream cone. Oh, wow, that's brilliant. That's my favorite one of those. And that's a leak, huh?
what, the one
Or
I sent?
yeah, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah, that's a leak.
Okay. Yeah, the ice cream cone guy looks like that's the coolest one.
Yeah, just weird pieces though. I mean, like I just looked up the Mario instructions because I know that there's one other channel that uploaded instructions, and he kind of has his own little twist. He doesn't do what I did, but still, he more or less is doing the same idea of what I'm doing. And his whole channel's about it, the instructions for sets. If any channel, in my opinion, is more, I feel like I'm talking like as if I'm Ryan here, but if if I get struck down for my Mario videos, this guy definitely should be too.
Yeah. Well, no, there's always that feeling of, well, if me, then them too, please. And it's like, well, that's
Yeah,
kind of a shitty attitude, but I
I
get
know.
it. I get it. I'm just trying to figure out all the different poses. I spread out his legs because I realized his hips kind of go like this if you want.
Okay.
And you can, I don't know if I would go, okay, that's not too steady. He will probably won't stand too well that way. But if I go one notch back, so I love any time you can position Lego so it's not square 90-degree
Oh,
stuff. When I had built my first big mock, when I did that, the Thai cat, if you look back in my YouTube and you can see what I built, um, I very intentionally, whenever possible, tried to use snot techniques, angles, whatever. Even if it
right.
made no sense, even if it made it structurally unsound, I was trying to just go in every possible direction that wasn't studs up. And at every turn I did that. It's like, oh, what can I do here? No, that's too simple. Take that off and let's go the other way. Just to do that. And I was using parts that no one would ever use, and I use them for claws for feet, and it's like it just come out looking really cool. Because I love
Right.
this idea of a 45-degree claw coming forward, and it was actually very stable when I was done with it. But this, I'm looking at this guy, and I'm getting a lot of inspiration for something bigger.
Hmm.
But that that's anything with a mech. But that swivel joint for the hip, very nicely done. Done with a ball joint where it clipped
Oh,
together.
nice.
Yeah, I don't know if I could pop them out without breaking. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. And it makes for very smooth, and of course it's snot technique on top here. So it's very smooth. It's probably even better than putting the tiles on top, which would probably be very typical to smooth it out, right? Because you find
Right.
if you put tiles on top, you probably find they catch a lot more. But doing snot technique by going in 4 different directions, very smooth. Not much friction there at all. No catching.
Huh.
But I know from experience, if I was to stud that over, yeah, it would probably be, it'd be catching somewhere. That's pretty cool. I was about to say he's very tipsy, but no, he's not. He's more stable than he looks. Well, I'm going to shut this down.
All right.
We're 2+ hours. I think that's pretty good considering I only had 2 bags.
Yeah.
Thanks for keeping me company.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Let's see what I get done tomorrow. I want to stream tomorrow. I'm sure I'll find an excuse. It's not like I don't have stuff to build. You know what my wife tried to do today? She goes,
Oh,
"I want to build the child." I go, "No,
that's a big set. No way.
no. I'm probably gonna have to give her a peace offering like Sesame Street or something." She asked for the Flintstones. I said, "Well, you could do the Flintstones if you want." I don't know. I really want to do the Flintstones. I mean, I don't buy anything I don't want to build. I want to build all of this. So, but she's got a peace offering. She's got my daughter's elves set. But after that, we'll probably give her Sesame Street.
Right.
And I told her no Star Wars. She jokingly said something. Well, that's what the child. I said, no, it's Star Wars. You're not building Star Wars on me. It's mine. I'm drawing a line. All right, T-Fan, T-Mog, and anyone else who's still around, thanks for hanging around. We're out of here. Have a good night.
See
Peace.
everyone.
One click